Welcome to In the Library of Graphic Literature with your host, Wallace Ryan and Luna.
Hey, Luna! Now this, people will be wondering, didn't they just post a video yesterday? And the answer would be yes. But we decided to do a special edition episode because officially we are both COVID positive.
Yay!
That's not near as much fun as they make it out to be in the funny papers. But of course, we're in isolation, so we gotta talk to the people, let them know, that we're still A-okay and we're still alive. But that you should get vaccinated, because I think if I wasn't vaccinated, I'd be pushing up daisies now, right?
I would definitely have bronchitis by now if,
Yeah, oh, I think
get
so.
the jab, man.
Yeah, get the jab. So in that thing, in that vein, I do actually have two books that I happened to get before it all went to heck. And one, of course, is, we'll start off this. Oh, actually, it didn't seem to work. Okay, for opening. This is, now this one
For better or for worse.
I had back ordered, but finally got it in.
Lynn Johnson.
For better, for worse, yeah.
I used to watch that all the time growing up.
Yeah?
Yeah, I used to read it in the Telegram and that.
Oh yeah, people, like I thought, at the time some people might have poo-pooed it, but it was just like, well, if you read it, this is graphic literature in comic strip form, right? Because it's just talking about day-to-day, experiences of a family, right? So it's, when she killed off the dog, people went insane, right? Charles Schultz even wrote her a letter, right? But, I always liked her style. She had a beautiful style of drawing, right? This is one of the things I almost don't have to hold up to the camera, but I will anyway, just because she just had a beauty of line, has a beauty of line to her art, right? So yeah, a friend of mine, Sean Huckster, hello Sean, this was very years ago, he'd been writing letters with her and all that, and she sent him an original.
That's what I used to look like when I was a youngster.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like me when I was 2.
And she sent him an original comic strip, right? Like one of these, right? But yeah, she's supposed to be really, really nice, right? And this is volume 6. 4 more to go. Now the other one is a DC one, and I'm starting to think that in certain, not DC, certain Marvel ones, the Marvel Masterworks, I'm only going to go so far, because it's just like, okay, after volume 8 of the Defenders, or volume this of whatever other ones, if they were starting to put them into books and sell them, then I shouldn't be encouraging that, because, it's got to have the good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And this was kind of good enough. Don Perlin was this guy, Herb Trimpe. I used to always thought it was Trimp.
The Defenders.
And this was kind of cool because it was a group with Doctor Strange, the Hulk, and Namor, the Submariner. They called themselves the Ungroup. But they
Ungroup?
Yeah.
The anti-group group?
Yeah, exactly, right? But they were, especially the early ones. I love the ones even earlier than this. Especially there was one by this writer Steve Gerber, who I'll mention actually in the top 10 list that we have coming here. Anyway, it's worth picking up. Okay, now on to the main feature, which is what 10 books do I think will help you make it through the isolation of having to stay away from others because of COVID, like yourselves. So I picked out 10 books. I figured this would be it. This one, we'll start off with this one, House of Secrets. This one I picked up just because number one, there's a lot to it. But they're all really cool little short horror stories, all done in the early 70s. And the artwork is actually pretty good on them too, right? There were a lot of people who started out doing artwork in the mystery and horror titles who went on to become superstars, right? When it came to comics. Oh, here we go. So this one, of course, got to do this one. And even, ooh, look at this, some Alex Nino. Dig this. Alex Nino is one of the greatest comic book artists of the 1970s and 80s. and still working today. I've seen him on his Facebook page putting together some great looking artwork. So yeah, to me, it's almost worth it for the Alex Nino ones alone. And there are a lot of the other great people from the Filipino invasion, as we called it at the time. A lot of Filipino artists came to the forefront, mainly because they were working cheaper, but they were still bloody great. Next one, also another big volume.
Howard the Duck!
Yay! And Howard, just because Howard has a certain anger and cynicism that someone with COVID should have, right? A distrust of government, of right-wing lunatics. See what COVID does, right? As you can tell, we're trying to make the best of this, okay? Come on. Work with us here, right?
And if you don't know who that is, you're too young for me.
You're too young. Excellent, actually. Now, this I'm recommending because some guy commented on one of my comic positive posts about what was it, in the days of the mob, and so I was telling him about, oh, you should check out the Simon and Kirby Crime. Simon and Kirby were same team who invented Captain America. Never did get to meet Kirby, but I met Simon, but he was very old at the time. But these are classic crime comics. Gunmaster, Flowers for Roma. Real hard-bitten noir type of comics, right? But the boys did great. Murder on a Wavelength. Even the titles were hard-bitten. That's half the reason I'm wearing this hat tonight, right? Pay up or die. Come on, you gotta love that one. So this for you, especially for you noir people, you should check this out. If you like Kirby, you like noir, buy that. Okay, we're zipping through the list here. So I only have so much energy. Now
this one we have Criminal, the Deluxe Edition by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips.
Now,
introduction by Dave Gibbons.
Exactly. Now, this for...
Check out that art.
Yeah. And it's hard... This is now another crime noir. Brubaker is great for crime noir stories. And they're really beautifully written. They're like... It could be out of any 1930s film that you see, or, you know...
Read the prologue.
Oh, well, the prologue. Okay. Whenever things begin to fall to pieces, I think of my father. Not him and Ivan in the early days, working the crowds. No, I think of the big jobs, when I'd hear him and his friends arguing in the basement. Hearing plans going off the rails, hearing glass breaking, hearing death in the voices of the men he was working with. Then me and Ricky Lawless would escape into the night, into the back streets, junkyard dogs at our heel, the night full of possibility and fear. But we didn't care. We were kids. We had no rules. Not society's for damn sure. Dun 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 dun. So yeah, these are just great. The art is beautiful in them too. Very simply, I like this sort of simple art once again. Very story focused, right? And great stories. Great stories. So Brubaker, definitely. Ooh, now here, this is one.
Dave Sim, High Society.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
High Society.
Now these feature the adventures of this guy here, Cerebus the Aardvark. And this was a great comic. It's a Canadian guy who does it actually, and Dave Sim. And this is the best part of it. This whole series lasted. This is the early part, maybe issues. As a matter of fact, it'll tell us in the start here. This would have been issues 26 to 50, and this ran for 300 issues. So this was early on, but I loved this stuff. He becoming a diplomatic representative for, unbeknownst even to himself, he ends up in this city, and they all begin treating him great. Free food, free board, everything, because suddenly he's a big political figure. This friend of his who he saved, his Lord Julius or whatever, turned him into a diplomat of sorts, right? And then he engineers his own kidnapping, and it just goes downhill from there. So yeah, definitely. I mean, let alone the if we're going to be isolated for a week or whatever, we could read this entire series if you want. Even better now. Ooh.
I had the whole library at my disposal.
Exactly, the world through comics. Now, when I was putting this together, I thought, okay, I did a lot of escapist stuff in it and all that, but then I thought, well, I got to throw in a bit of reality. So, Kent State from Derf Back Derf, a great, has won all kinds of acclaim and been loved and adored around the world. Jason, late Jason Conway, he read it, and Jason said to me, he said, geez, I learned so much about what happened at Kent State by reading just this one book. And see, it shows that comics and graphic novels should be used in the classroom. And a great example of that is King, a comics biography, the special edition by Ho Chi Anderson. And this one comes with a sign. Ho Chi was here, of course, a few years ago for a graphics it was a comic book event type of thing we had on here, and sort of a symposium. And I met him, great guy, we had a great time together. So a lot of great chats, and when I'd been trying to I was hoping that at the last moment I was able to get a copy of this, because I didn't actually have a copy at the time. And I was able to look into this and had him sign it. But yeah, you want to learn, and to me you learn so much more sometimes with a graphic novel, because you tried books on subjects sometimes can be kind of boring, right? But this one, definitely there on the top 10 books there. Now, another one, this one is Serial by Terry Moore. Terry Moore is famous. They're coming for us again. Of course, for Strangers in Paradise and many more. Rachel Rising. He does great books. I like that the heroes of all his books are women. No men are the real heroes. They're all secondary characters to all the stories. Which makes them far more interesting, right? To be quite honest. Okay, and then throwing a bit of adventure and escapism again, and there'll be nothing better than this guy, Jim Starlin and Dreadstar. Dreadstar was a comic. It was interesting. It started out in a magazine with Marvel as a black and white. Look, check that out, the black and white.
Oh, the detail though.
Yeah, but it slowly morphed over.
Oh, look at that butterfly.
Oh yeah.
Show the people.
I'll show you the bigger picture of her. But the coolest thing about this was that this feature started out in black and white and gray, and then, oh, there she is, Whisper. And then over a couple issues, it slowly went from black and white. Check this out, hey. Go from black and white into color. Anyway, and then, and what was different at the time, he had one of the chapters, he went to another, this was with Marvel, but then he went to another company, Eclipse, and he did a interim chapter. That if you were following the other one, you had to buy this one. That was the price. Dun, 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 you would have to pay. But this was I loved this guy when I was a kid. I was a Jim Starlin freakazoid, right?
Oh, me too.
You too?
Okay.
Shut up and keep talking. Anyway, Dreadstar. And this was Dreadstar number 1.
Now, Jeff Strong. Is it?
What's that?
What's his name? Buddy from what's his name? From Twilight Zone.
Oh, Rod Serling.
Yeah, Rod Serling. That's his name.
Serling, yeah.
Is it Sirloin?
Yeah, no T in it, yeah. But this one, Dreadstar, then it turned into a comic.
You're sweating balls, but...
I know. I think it's the... it could be the COVID, you know?
Oh, I've never guessed. I've never guessed. He didn't believe me, you know.
Yeah, it is my fault. I'm willing to accept that, though.
And he's like, oh, you have a bong. I don't mind if I do.
Anyway, we won't talk about
Show
that.
people your new haircut.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah. And this actually is something else you can do when you're in isolation, is you can...
Which you think I was going to do hit you?
No, I'm
You're afraid of me for.
I'm not afraid of you.
Should be.
You should be. Now that you say it, I kind of am.
Step on you.
I know. Now, Crime Noir, which I've mentioned before, and for our final book in the night, is this. This is Brian Michael Bendis. Crime Noir, Omnibus, Crime Noir. He did a bunch of cool black and white stories, some that he even drew himself. He's mainly known as a writer, but for this he did this includes, I think it includes Torso,
Yeah?
which is about the famous Cleveland Torso killings in the 1930s, 40s, whenever. And there were a couple of other of his, this collects a lot of his classic stuff. Jinx, Goldfish, Torso, and Fire. So this is basically all Bendis' early stuff before he became famous and working with DC and Marvel and the like, right? Before he got a taste of the high life, right?
I'm playing the saxophone here, You're
Yeah?
bothering me with your
Right.
comic talk.
You comic talk? Sure, this is a comic show!
I must be in the wrong studio.
No. Stay. Well, I guess that's the 10 books there. That's the 10 books that I figure are worth recommending for when you're in isolation with COVID.
Is that so?
Yeah. So what do you think?
I think you just made it all up.
Well, I kind of did. Well, yeah, I kind of did. It's like anything. I had to make up the list.
I believe you.
Many wouldn't.
I think my favorite out of the ones you picked, was the only two I recognized, was that hippo dude and the
For better
for
for worse, yeah.
I'll just know what your favorites out of that bunch was.
Oh yeah, really, it was, yeah. Well, that's what I figured, is just like, okay, I'll make up a list there. Now, I know you'd probably throw in a few Gaimans if you were Sandman for sure, eh? Actually, that's one I should have put on the list. The Sandman. Sandman would be a great one to read. A great escapist one to read while you're homesick.
Harold and the Purple Crayon!
Harold.
Someone please find me that book.
Yes, and just send us a note and send it to us. Oh, now I'm starting to feel it in the throat here now. Anyway, that's I guess that's our that's the end of our COVID special, where we both COVID positive here, but we decided we weren't going to let it keep us down, mainly because we shoot the show in my studio anyway, and we're in isolation. What else are we going to do? Why not entertain the public?
I hope I'm still getting paid for this.
That being said, thanks for having us over. Check out Comics Positive and In the Library of Graphic Literature and Thursday Comics, which we thankfully pre-recorded last week. Whew. That way I didn't get to expose Dennis. Okay, people.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo, thanks for having us over. And remember, get tested and get vaccinated and stay away from people if you are sick, or this is the start of the isolation. I guess I'm going to have to get Dennis or someone to pick up my books. Oh well.
Just going to have to wait it out, man.
Yeah,
Is
I know.
This is the end.
What am I to do without the comics? What am I to do? Well,
I told him I won't put him in a nursing home, no matter how bad he gets.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go off and eat some dirt or something. With that, good night, folks. Thank you. I'm floating away.